Hello, welcome one and all to the channel. My name is Mateo Chavez Lewis and this is Music Theater Theory. Whoa. So I've been doing these like unedited reaction type videos for the last little while because I'm currently in the Toronto Fringe Festival and I'm in 2 shows, so I've been super busy. But last week I did a reaction video to Joaquina Kalukango's awesome solo from Paradise Square, Welcome Home. So not the one she did at the Tonys, Let It Burn, but another one, Welcome Home, which is just as mind-blowingly awesome. So check out that video. And Patti LuPone's Ladies Who Lunch is another reaction video that I did. Today, I'm responding to a little bit of a Broadway discourse controversy that's been cropping up over the last week or so, because Beanie Feldstein basically got kicked out of the Funny Girl revival and she's going to be replaced by, in September, Lea Michele. And so a lot of people don't love Lea Michele because recently there have been some accusations made about Lea Michele's behavior on the set of Glee. For those of you who don't know, Lea Michele played Rachel Berry in Glee, and she is basically Rachel Berry from Glee, according to these particular reports. However, Lea Michele has been for a long time very publicly dreaming of playing Fanny Brice in Funny Girl, and so much so in fact that they made the character in Glee that she played also have a dream of playing Fanny Brice in Funny Girl, and now she's gonna have that moment come true for her. So today we're looking at Lea Michele singing Don't Rain on My Parade. And we're gonna see, do we think that she's gonna do a good job of it on Broadway? Let's find out. So here is the video. Let's just jump right in, because why not?
Don't tell me not to live, just sit and putter. Life's candy and the sun's a ball of butter.
So the first thing I want to talk about right away is Lea Michele's kind of signature sound is this like cry sound right before she starts singing. Don't tell me not to live, just sit and putter. Life's candy in the sun. Like this little hla before every single one of her like phrases. She always starts her phrases with a big like breath and a little bit of a like a little cry into it, which some people may find annoying. Some people also might find that very expressive and emotional. For me, it actually kind of depends on the day. I love a cry every so often. I do think Lea Michele errs on the side of doing a cry into her phrases out of habit and not necessarily out of making a choice to do so, is my suspicion based on how frequently she does it and in every song. However, I do appreciate the amount of breath it takes to make that kind of a sound. She's clearly a very strong technical singer, and she's got a lot of power to her voice, and so I'm not going to discount her in any way.
Don't bring around a cloud to rain on my parade. Don't tell me not to fly.
Do you hear that? Fly, fly.
So spill it to me and not
instead of just fly.
I told you you're allowed to rain on my parade. I'm marching my band out.
I'll beat my drum.
And if I'm fanned out,
your turn at bat.
At least I didn't fake it, sir. I guess I didn't.
She's doing the Barbra Streisand thing. In some ways, she's trying to emulate Barbra Streisand here, and in some ways, she's not. Like Barbra Streisand, when she sings this song, she doesn't sing her R's, right? Because of the kind of accent that Fanny Brice has because of where she's from. She's very, your turn at bat, sir, instead of bat, sir. She doesn't go, your turn at bat, sir, at least I didn't fake it. But in other ways, Lea Michele totally differs from Barbara's performance and uses more modern vocal techniques. For example, that cry is very 21st century pop. Like, it's very Katy Perry. And Barbra Streisand wouldn't be caught dead doing it as much as Lea Michele's doing it. That's okay. You don't have to exactly emulate Barbra Streisand. In fact, it's better if you don't. But yeah, and there's another thing coming up that I think is an even bigger noticeable difference.
Weather on the rose of sheer perfection, a freckle on the nose of life's complexion, the cinder or the shiny apple of its eye.
That was sick. So she did this little vocal trill on shiny apple of its eye instead of just going shiny apple of his eye. She went shiny apple, like a little na na na, something like that. Ooh, that's kind of fun. Shiny apple of his eye, some little trill like that. And that's also pretty modern day. You won't find Barbra Streisand doing a lot of those little trills in her singing. But that's not what I was talking about. There's an even bigger difference coming up.
I gotta fly once, I gotta
Fly.
try once, only can die once. It's
Right.
life is juicy, and you see I gotta have
Juicy.
my bite. So
It's everywhere.
get ready for me, love, cause I'm a comer. I simply gotta
Come on,
march, my
there's that.
heart's a drama. Don't
No
bring
R's,
around
no
a
R's at all.
cloud to rain on my parade.
So there's something I want to talk about too. The vowel that she uses there. Don't bring around a cloud to rain on my parade. Like she really, I mean, it sounds different in my voice because I'm singing it in like a baritone range. But that kind of a sound, that really open, deep sound. Look how big, just for a second. Just look how big her mouth is, right? Look how open that is. Ah, parade. Like there's so much power in that sound. And she's got this really big, huge vibrato, and it's all, like, the back of the throat is totally open. What she's not doing is just putting it in the nose and making it small. Because even though there is a certain kind of power that can come from a really focused sound, that isn't the classic Barbra Streisand sound, and that isn't the sound that Fanny Brice, the real Fanny Brice, would have either. So she could have done to rain on my parade, like focus it like that, but instead open the back of the throat, parade. Now, a lot of the reviews of Funny Girl have talked about Beanie Feldstein not having the power in her voice that she needs to bring this character to life. Famously, Barbra Streisand was the last person to play it, right? Like, it hasn't been revived on Broadway since Barbra Streisand did it. So the shoes that Beanie Feldstein has to fill are huge, and they're also very specific, and there isn't a lot of room. People don't have a lot of space to consider other interpretations of the role. Beanie Feldstein is such an awesome person. Like, she's so charismatic and so sweet, and she's a phenomenal actor, and like I love her in Baby Bird and stuff. Let's look at just a tiny little clip of her Don't Rain on My Parade, which is available online, because I want to compare. So we just did, look how big Lea Michele's mouth is, right? And this is Beanie Feldstein.
Mr. Unseen,
So it's a lot smaller. You know, she's doing much more, here I am, and a lot less, ah, parade. You know what I mean? Expanding the back of the throat like Lea Michele does. Beanie Feldstein's got a lot of like nasal focus, and it makes the sound smaller. And I think that might be what the critics have been referring to when they say that she doesn't have the vocal power, or like her voice lets her down, or whatever the critics have been really kind of trashing Beanie Feldstein for. I think that's what it is. And I don't necessarily know that that's an inherently bad thing for Beanie to do, but it is obviously very different from Barbra Streisand, because Barbra Streisand is this huge powerhouse, and this kind of focused singing doesn't live up to the expectation that people have in their heads, not because it's objectively not as good, but because people have come to associate this song and this show with that huge, spread, open mouth, open throat, ah, kind of singing, which Beanie isn't doing. And so that might contribute to why people have not been responding well to her performance, even though she's like a great actress. And I have only love in my heart for her. Lea Michele, on the other hand, I have mixed feelings about, because of obviously everything that's been said about her. I don't know how much of that is forgivable because she was just young, and I believe that there needs to be room for people to grow, and that was a long time ago that she was on the set of Glee. So I am open to her growing as a person, and I can't deny that she's an incredibly powerful singer. But I'm not sure, because of the rumors that have been going around and the accusations that have been made against her. I'm not sure how much she's grown as a person, and I want to leave room for her to have grown. But that's why my feelings about Lea Michele are a little bit more mixed than my feelings about Beanie. Anyways, this is Lea Michele.
Gonna live and live now. Get what I want.
What?
I know how. One roll
That's
for
the thing about this
whole
cry is like it begins to lose it's like the boy who cried wolf, you know, but instead it's the singer who cried. Every time, like the boy who cried wolf, every time he cries wolf, the villagers believe him less and less. With Lea Michele, every time she does a vocal cry, it loses some of the emotional power that it has. And so that's why when people say it's annoying how she does that, people just mean that she maybe does it more than she needs to, and it would be more powerful if she chose her moments more sparingly.
bang. One throw, that bell will go clang. Eye on the target and wham.
This is also, there's some really interesting music theory stuff happening here, so at some point I want to make a full analysis video about Don't Rain on My Parade, and if I ever do make that, I'll put a card up here somewhere. So if you're watching this in the distant future, and the water wars haven't started yet, you can click up there, and there should be an analysis of Don't Rain on My Parade available.
Shot, one gunshot, and bam! Hey, Mr. Onstein.
Check this out.
Here I
See how open her mouth is? Ah, as opposed to this. Like, let me put this on full screen so that you can see. Lea Michele is, and Beanie Feldstein is. It's a very subtle difference, but it makes all the difference. This little jaw expansion that Lea Michele has going on, as opposed to Beanie Feldstein, her jaw isn't as expanded. Like, see? And so that's why people have been feeling the way they've been feeling about Beanie Feldstein.
much my bed.
Oh, that's actually what I wanted to talk about. Wait. Barbra Streisand goes, here I am. Like, she goes to this which is very like popular 50s, 60s Broadway. Like, it sounds like Ethel Merman. It sounds like Barbra Streisand. It sounds like maybe even a little bit like Carol Channing or those kinds of Broadway divas from that era. All of them sang with this like wide vibrato, really nasal vowels. And Barbra Streisand does that. She very much goes, here I am. So she sings like an instead of a here I am, like more of an sound, which is more how people colloquially speak, especially today and in the States. Here I am, is how people speak. Instead of So Lea Michele is singing much more how people in the 21st century speak. So she's actually doing a really good job of diverting away from Barbra Streisand in order to communicate it better to today's audience by changing that vowel. So instead of here I am, it's here I am, which is much more present day. But then she's also opening the throat. So instead of here I am, we get here I am. Power, power, power. It's disappointing to me how produced the Glee soundtracks are, because they definitely use some like pitch correction to just remove any imperfections. But more than that, I think they use a lot of like compressors and limiters, which are audio plugins that basically you put them on an audio track and it narrows the dynamic range of the audio track, which makes it easier to listen to with headphones, but kind of removes some of the push and pull of a vocalist's performance. So it's disappointing we're not going to see the full dynamic range of Lea Michele's performance here, because of these limiters and compressors, we don't really know when she's kind of backing off and when she's fully letting it rip, because it all sounds kind of the same volume because of those audio plugins. However, we will be seeing that on Broadway if you get your tickets to see Lea Michele play Fanny Brice in Funny Girl. So that's cool. That growl on. Ooh, that my as well. I want to get to that growl on. I'll march my band up and down. Yeah, like just fully going for it. That's another aspect of. I mean, I don't know if Beanie does that because we don't have a publicly available recording of her doing that section. But it doesn't sound like she's gonna be growling very much based on what we've heard. So that might be another example of where people are hearing the different vocal choices she's making and going, oh, she doesn't have as much power. That might be an example because those growls are often considered powerful. So that's the thing. Lea Michele is such a good singer. Like, that's insane. Beat my... Like, she's got so much freedom on that. It's so open, and it's straight tone, so there's no vibrato, and then she adds the vibrato, and it's huge. Beat, no vibrato, then my huge vibrato. It's brilliant. Like, it shows a lot of technical prowess. And so as much as I might complain, like, that she cries too much, I can't deny that she's a huge vocal powerhouse and has unbelievable breath support and definitely knows what she's doing and vocally can compare to Barbra Streisand in a way that Beanie, because of the kind of voice that she has and the style that she's choosing, isn't as comparable to Barbra Streisand's particular style. Your turn at
least I didn't fake it, had to say. Guess I didn't make it. Get ready for me, love, cause I'm a comer. I simply gotta march, my heart's a drummer. No, buddy don't know.
No, buddy. Here's everywhere the cry. Look how open. Look how open. Look at that mouth. The lips are way open. The throat is way open. And did you hear that? Like, at the end there, parade, straight tone, no vibrato, and then add the vibrato, and then she switches to the vowel in a way that Barbra Streisand did, I think. Parade. So, parade, that word is what's called a diphthong, which is when there are two vowel sounds right next to each other. So, raid is re-ed put together. Raid. And so in classical singing, you would usually focus a lot on the first vowel and only switch to the second vowel as you go into the consonants. So the technically correct way to sing that is parade. Like that. Do you hear how I went eh, and then at the very end I went ed? Parade. But for an effect, as if she's really grabbing onto this word and really wants every single sound to be heard and really is determined to communicate this thought, we get parade, which is such an epic, like, biting ending to the song. And I think it's something that Barbra Streisand did that Lea Michele is channeling here, but Lea Michele is obviously doing a fantastic job of communicating the power of the ending of this song. So in some ways, in some ways I'm sad because I really, really love Beanie Feldstein. In everything I've ever seen her in, she's been fantastic. She just makes my heart so happy. She is so, like, kind and honest in her interviews. Like, she just seems like such a lovely person, and I just want the world for her. And I don't even necessarily know that the vocal choices that she's making are bad for the story of Fanny Brice. I don't think it sounds like the real Fanny Brice would sound. I think the real Fanny Brice was a little bit brassier in the way that Barbra Streisand and Lea Michele are. But I don't think that the vocal choices she's making are objectively bad. I also want to point out Beanie Feldstein had a lot of vocal damage when she was very, very young. When she was 9 or 10, she had to completely relearn how to talk and sing because of her vocal damage. So she's coming from that background, and she's someone who is vocally struggled a lot, and who is always probably afraid of hurting herself again. And so she's being really, really careful to maintain her voice and to not push it past what it can do. And so considering where she's come from and the fact that she had like totally destroyed her voice at a very young age, and she's made it up to the point where she can even get through Don't Rain on My Parade, is pretty remarkable. And so I think we should give credit where credit is due. And I also don't think that she's been very well treated by the critics and the producers of her show. And you can tell that because of her decision to leave early. That says to me that she isn't feeling supported by the people who are supposed to support her in her job, like her producers, for example. However, Lea Michele is undeniably gonna belt the ever-loving poop out of this song 7 times a week on Broadway. Only 7 because Julie Benko, the standby, who you can find a recording of Julie Benko singing this song, and Julie Benko is also amazing. Julie Benko will be playing it up until Lea Michele joins in September, and then once Lea Michele joins, Julie Benko will be playing it once a week on Thursdays, I believe. So Lea Michele will do a great job, and I also don't agree with the Twitter mob going, oh, there have been accusations made that Lea Michele was toxic on the set of Glee, therefore she doesn't deserve to ever be a Broadway star. I want to live in a world where people are allowed to grow and change. As soon as we don't allow people to grow and change after many, many years, we are setting people up to always be terrible if they were ever terrible, and we aren't setting people up to become better, which is really the goal. Like, we don't want a bunch of horrible people walking around. We want a bunch of people who are growing and becoming better walking around. That's what I think anyways. And so I want to give Lea Michele the benefit of the doubt as a person, and there is no doubt that she's going to knock it out of the park as a performer. So I am actually kind of thrilled that Lea Michele is going to get to do Fanny Brice on Broadway. It feels right because she's been talking about how she wants to do it for like 10 years. But I'm at the same time disappointed in the way that Beanie Feldstein has been treated and the lack of understanding that has been shown to her. And I think Beanie Feldstein is great, and I really, really hope this doesn't hurt her long-term career, because I really want to see more Beanie Feldstein on stage and on screen because she's just so lovely. Anyways, there you go. That is my kind of reaction to the whole controversy that's going around about Funny Girl. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe. I'm gonna be here, especially now that Fringe is on its way to being over. I'm going to be making new content every single Saturday, so check back here for analyses of your favorite musical theater songs. Oh, and you should definitely check out this video as well, because I wear a dress. I'll see you in the next video. Much love.